Okay, I was explaining how it gets a bit confusing. How, I said this earlier in the thing. I said where strange people in Isaiah 18 it talks about how the Cush have a strange people with a strange language, where the king of Assyria is not that strange to the Jews at the time. Okay, the Babylonians are not that strange to the Jews at the time. Okay, these aren't the strange people. Whenever the Cush comes up, they're not really communicating with them. When you don't see a lot of communication about Terharka, who's called the king of the Cush at the time. Okay, they're really focusing on Assyria and Babylon and Egypt and so on and so forth. Okay, and Cush is below Egypt, and so the root of Cush is farther, west into West Africa, southwest. Okay. Jeremiah 50:38. A drought on our waters, they will dry up, for it is a land of idols. Idols that will go mad with terror, including denial. So desert creatures and hyenas will live there, and there the owl will dwell. It will never be inhabited or lived in from generation to generation. As I overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah along with her neighboring towns. Okay, let me just start over. You see, I had to roll up the windows because I'm being fumed, and then there's a lot of noise. And wherever I go, there's problems. There's wind. If I go outside to record, I'm fumed in my car, in my room. You know what I'm saying? I park in different places. There's fumes coming from my car. They're using some kind of technology. So let's start over here. Jeremiah 50, okay, 38. A drought on her waters, they will dry up, for it is a land of idols, idols that will go mad with terror. They're talking about any kind of water worth having. So desert creatures and hyenas will live there, and there the owl will dwell. It will never be inhabited or lived in from generation to generation. As I overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, along with their neighboring towns, declares the Lord, so no one will live there, no people will dwell in it. Look, an army is coming from the north, a great nation, and many kings are being stirred up from the ends of the earth. They are armed with bows and spears. They are cruel and without mercy. They sound like the roaring sea as they ride on their horses. They come like men in battle formation to attack you, daughter Babylon. Okay, so again, the Bible ends with the peoples of the world, okay, torturing each other and punishing each other. Okay, God gives them into the hands of the wicked. It also ends with me trampling them spiritually and preparing the lake of fire for them more, and going to God's right hand and letting them and their offspring have it forever. Okay, so the wages of sin is death. The saying, give us Barabbas, you get the kind of rape cult world that Barabbas wanted. Barabbas, bar the father, bar ver in virtue means man, bar virtue, right? Barabbas, okay, Abbas meaning father, okay, and B Ra Abbas, right? Bar, ban the people who want to insist on what is right, and Ra in Hebrew means wrong too, to confuse things. Remember they said to call good evil and evil good, so they're saying be evil fathers and ban the good father of God, where Ra is symbolized by the sun, and so is God, and semantics there. But that's what they're getting at, no matter how you slice it, and there's other ways to explain it, you get to the same conclusion. Okay. So that's that. Then we're going to go into section 3, which is zeal and some key supporting scriptures. Okay, may as well do this right now. It's going to be a pain. Isaiah 59:16. Truth is nowhere to be found, and whoever shuns evil becomes a prey. The Lord looked and was displeased that there was no justice. He saw that there was no one. He was appalled that there was no one to intervene. So his own arm achieved salvation for him, and his own righteousness sustained him. He put on righteousness as his breastplate, and the helmet of salvation on his head. He put on the garments of vengeance and wrapped himself in zeal as in a cloak. You see how he's preparing himself for war. Is he wearing a military outfit with military gear? No. That's why the N-word in Western culture, a derogatory term for black people, is a play on words for no gear, because they're insisting on their gear, and they worship the devil, where the gear of God is not physical gear, right? It's not technology, it's not armor, it's not, this kind of stuff. He put on righteousness as his breastplate. Righteousness, not the armor of a knight. Helmet of salvation, right? Salvation is the helmet, not the helmet of a knight, not the headgear of an American soldier or any other soldier, okay, that is of this world. He put on the garments of vengeance and wrapped himself in zeal as a cloak. So going back to the original verse that this series about, Proverbs 34, who has gone up to heaven and come down, whose hands have gathered up the wind, who has wrapped up the waters in a cloak, who has established the ends of the earth, what is his name, and what is the name of his son? Surely you know. So who has wrapped up the waters of righteousness and salvation, the waters of life, the living water of God in zeal, right? Remember, as water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. Whose life story, okay, embodies that. And there's a bunch of arrogant Europeans. I, Prince George of Wales, you know, and so on and so forth. A bunch of arrogant Jews. Well, I'm an Israeli. Well, I'm an Israeli. You know what I'm saying? But it's stupid not to know the kingdom of heaven is taken away from you. With all due respect to the Jews, you do not represent God. You never will. Okay? Not on the highest level. You have to obey God through me. After that, you never will. There's nothing you can do. To the European, the rich Europeans, other Europeans, okay, you're in the spirit of arrogance and haughtiness. You come from a long line of people who are in the culture of Zeus. Your churches, my Michelangelo Sistine Chapel, even depicted God as Zeus. Your fairies are LGBT fairies. You know, excuse me, your angels are fairies. They're LGBT fairies. You are not in the generational spirit of God. Only I am. Okay, as the Royal African Falcon top martial arts order, Cush begot Nimrod. Nimrod was a mighty warrior before the Lord, while you people were still just idolaters. What was Japheth doing at that time? He was an idolater. When you continued your generational culture and your fake Christianity, you're still idolaters who are wolves in sheep's clothes, where the wolf is a symbol of the Roman people. No bad tree can bear good fruit. The bad tree of the Roman Catholic Church branched off into Protestants, who are also wolves because they're from the tree of the Roman Catholic Church. They did not get redeemed from the outside. It was started by Martin Luther and them, and they were working for the Roman Catholic Church, and they said, I'm going to go off on my own. They weren't called by God. So you're just idolaters. Okay? Pretty straightforward. I'll go as far as say no offense, but to some degree I'm offended by you persecuting me, so whatever it is what it is. Okay. According to what they have done, so he will repay his wrath to his enemies and retribution to his foes. He will pay the islands their due, for he will come up like a pent-up flood. The breath of the Lord drives along. The Redeemer will come to Zion, to those who are in my war spirit and no one else. Zion, right? The fortress of Zion, the city of God. 2 Samuel 5. To those in Jacob who repent of their sins, declares the Lord. As for me, this is my covenant with them, says the Lord. My spirit who is on you will not depart from you, and my words that I put in your mouth will always be on your lips, on the lips of your children, on the lips of their descendants, from this time on and forever. Obviously, the words as the actions, the spirit. Galatians 4. Okay, that more are the children of the woman in the spiritual realm, Jerusalem in the sky, than the people who embrace Jerusalem in this world, and Mount Sinai, Sin Alpha I, who are of the devil. Okay, that's what the Bible says. Okay, and the evidence suggests that. Okay, no offense if that's what I should say, but I'm offended that you're persecuting me for doing God's work. And it is stupid to turn the other cheek when they are mocking God. There's a time to overlook an offense, and there's a time not to. Okay. So let's look at some supporting scriptures now. Proverbs 1:19, such are the paths of all those who go after ill-gotten gain. It takes away the life of those who get it, right? They go after the dead because they're cheating me on my right to lead. So everything they're doing is ill-gotten gain. Proverbs 18:10, the name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. Fortified tower, where? In the city of Zion, the spirit of the city of Zion. I am the gate to Zion. I am the gate of God. Okay, so you must rally to me. Proverbs 19:10 is not fitting for a fool to live in luxury. How much more for a slave to rule over a prince? How much more for you sinners from a long line of sinners to rule over the Royal African Falcon top martial artist? And that is truth talking, not your arrogance. Okay, you people are arrogant. I'm not. Okay. I drive a car covered with dust for being persecuted. No one's following me. I don't even have a girlfriend. I mean, go through the list of reasons, okay? Proverbs 19:10, it is not fitting for a fool to live in luxury. How much more for a slave to rule over a prince? Okay, slaves to sin, right? Whoever sins is a slave to sin, is what the New Testament says. Whoever robs their father or drives out their mother is a child who brings shame and disgrace. That's Proverbs 19:26. Whoever robs God or drives out the spirit of Jerusalem in the sky is a child who brings shame and disgrace. Proverbs 28, when a king sits on his throne to judge, he winnows out evil with his eyes. Okay, insight, casting them down to the realm of the dead. In Proverbs 20:26, a wise king winnows out the wicked. He drives the threshing wheel over them. If you cannot be purged of your sin to the point where you obey God through me, to hell you go, and you're nothing but evil. The tares and the wheat. The human spirit is the lamp of the Lord that sheds light on one's inmost being. The human spirit is the lamp of the Lord that sheds light on one's inmost being. It's not a coincidence that that's the next verse. Okay? Because I'm supposed to examine your spirit. Are you in my spirit? If not, straight to hell with you. You see what I'm saying? Proverbs 21:1. In the Lord's hand the king's heart is a stream of water that he channels toward all who please him. A person may think their own ways are right, but the Lord weighs the heart. Okay, remember, I could have made this video way better, but they interfered. Okay, and they're changing my voice and fuming me and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, moving on. Proverbs 27:21. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but people are tested by their praise. You're tested by their praise. Are you praising God by obeying God through me? No, you're insulting God. Zion is the fire of the Lord, and Jerusalem is said to be the furnace. Jerusalem in the sky, Zion in the sky. In a sense, Jerusalem in this world, okay, because they're burning in hell, where the key locations that control the world, right? Israel has a lot of power, the West has a lot of power, Asia has a lot of power. So who are the main powers in this world, right? And again, it says we don't fight against the flesh, we fight against the powers and the authorities, the principalities, right? The spirit of the powers of the world, okay? And that's the spirit of the devil, right? Satan is the god of this world, leads the world astray. He offered Jesus the kingdoms of this land. Who has the power over the kingdoms of this land? Okay. Proverbs 28:1, the wicked flee though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. The rich are wise in their own eyes. One who is poor and discerning sees how deluded they are, right? It's deluded to follow the deluded, okay? The blind leading the blind, what have you. Proverbs 28:16, a tyrannical ruler practices extortion. One who hates ill-gotten gain will enjoy a long reign. So if you hate ill-gotten gain to the point you don't cheat me out of my right to lead, okay, you get a crown in your own right and you enjoy a long reign. And of course, it refers to me too. Anyone who's tormented by the guilt of murder will seek refuge in the grave, right? The realm of the dead. Let no one hold them back. Proverbs 28:18. The one whose walk is blameless is kept safe, but the one whose ways are perverse will fall into the pit, right? The one whose walk is blameless. Can you be blamed for cheating me out of my right to lead? Yes. If your parents come from a long line of sinners who caused you to be far away from me, can you be blamed for it? Yes. So your ways are perverse. You're following the footsteps of the perverse, the perverted of heart, the perverse. The one whose walk is blameless is kept safe, but the one whose ways are perverse will fall into the pit. And it's not just sexual perversion, spiritual perversion. Moving on. 19. Those who work the land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies will have their share of poverty. You follow the deluded American dream, right? It's a delusion, right? You follow this kind of stuff, you have your share of spiritual poverty forever in the pit, suffering forever. Whoever robs their father and mother and says it is not wrong is partner to one who destroys. Okay, so whoever cheats me on my right to lead is robbing God, robbing Jerusalem in the sky. One who's slack in his work, his brother. One who destroys. Whoever doesn't gather with me, scatters, and so on and so forth. Proverbs 29:1. Whoever remains stiff-necked after many rebukes will suddenly be destroyed without remedy. Okay, so again, I've been rebuking these people on and on and on. I've been rebuking the rest of the world. Okay, eventually their card is going to get pulled one day. They're going to die straight to hell. No remedy. Suddenly destroyed. Whoever remains stiff-necked after I've been rebuking them time and time again will suddenly be destroyed and thrown into the lake of fire one day without remedy. That's kind of how death comes. All right. Proverbs 26:24. Enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. Though their speech is charming, do not believe them, for 7 abominations fill their hearts. 7 is the number of purifying, so there's the anti-purifying, which is the abominations of this world. 26. Their malice may be concealed by deception, but their wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. Okay? No matter how smart they think they are, they're going to be exposed by God and they're going to suffer in the afterlife. 27. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. They're like, hey, let's seal them in hell. Let's seal them in hell. It's going to roll back on them and their offspring. It's like, now you're sealed in hell, you fucking idiot. And your offspring are sealed in hell. There's no possible worthwhile life, no possible righteous life. You think pushing a kid's butt is fucking a worthwhile life? You think playing stupid about it? You think being partners with these goons? You think your offspring intermarrying with these dogs, as a dog is a worthwhile life? Man, you need a reality check. Verse 28, a lying tongue hates those it hurts, and a flattering tongue works ruin. They're lying about God, and they're rolling a stone that's going to seal them in hell. Okay? And it's going to affect them and their offspring, and them and their offspring are going to be suddenly destroyed without remedy, and then they're going to live some pitiful life, then go to hell.